what is up? Thanks so much for tuning in. I am Deborah. This is Purusha Intuitive. Welcome to our beginning of the year readings for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Cross watchers, welcome. As long as the energy resonates, then the message is meant for you. I hope you had a fabulous new year. Ooh. There's some tension in the air today, guys. I don't know if you feel that, but I definitely feel like this level of resistance. Mercury is in retrograde right now. It is sextile to Neptune, so it's really opening up to our intuition, to that feeling, to that knowing that something's over, that something's done with. Having this element, and it might have been something, that you ruined, or, it could be the energy of this other person. There was this element of self-sabotage. I feel like you want to rebuild. I do get that energy, or there is that desire to come together, again. But you're not really sure what way you want to go quite yet, right? With that keys on the ring, it really talks about different options, different ways to approach something. But this is definitely heavily on your mind. I think you guys got this one last week. That hand of cards, you might not really be talking to a lot of people about how you feel about this situation, keeping it close to your chest. But that's also, I don't know, that card also reminds me of that house of cards, right? Like places that we build certain things on a faulty foundation, on sand, right? Yeah. So this has definitely brought out, it was a big wake-up call for you, Taurus, I feel. Maybe you weren't 100% expecting this. It definitely was something that kind of took you off course, that you had to have a little bit of a wake-up call, and it made you really look at yourself. I mean, I feel like that's for both parties, but you're definitely emanating more of this energy of fear that it's over, fear that it's done with, fear that you didn't make the right choices, a belief that you can still kind of get back to, Eight of Cups. As I was saying, that Eight of Cups is that energy of not putting time, energy into the toxicity anymore. So I do see you creating some boundaries for yourself, especially as you're kind of assessing what your next steps are. Let's get into it a little bit more. I do personal readings, guys, so if you want me to look at your situation, I would totally love and be honored to. Check out what's offered below. So Knight of Wands energy. So you might be dealing with fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, someone who can be kind of fiery, maybe a little bit immature. This is a repeated pattern, I feel. This is, and that makes a lot of sense, that self-sabotage. I feel like you're dealing with someone who, I don't know, it's just, it's very interesting how that creature is spanking that little girl, right? It's I feel like you're dealing with someone who is really immature, who looks at things very immaturely. And you feel like you almost get penalized or in trouble, so to speak, if you don't do things in their way. Because this is a lot of you feeling like you're taking the abuse, you're taking the beating for whatever's happening, right? But with that devil energy showing up, there's also something that's being contributed. Okay, let's look. Because I feel like this is something the devil energy is being contributed on both ends. Maybe something that you're not looking at. Okay. Holding things over people's head. Page of Pentacles, that's money, possessions. Obviously, Taurus rules the second house in the zodiac, and that does deal a lot with our material sustenance. So you could be kind of, like I said, if someone's asked for an investment, if this is a business endeavor, you could be on the defensive about it. That could be the way that you hold things over people's head, right? It could be a little bit of that manipulative energy. Maybe this is something that you can contribute to the situation. But it's saying it's kind of putting you, like I said, on the defense, like being very emotional, almost like letting your emotions get the best of you around this. Because to me, this is a lot about making sure that, you know, your motives for wanting to reconnect or repair this relationship or this situation, they do feel a little bit surface. You're not liking how things are going. You feel like you have to do a lot of the legwork. You feel like you're not getting the results that you want. Maybe this person is even blocking you. Let's look at their energy a little bit more. Okay, so the moon. So dealing with, it could be a water sign. This is, Pisces energy, Pisces, Cancer energy. Letting our emotions get the best of us. Someone who was trying to give you a gift, trying to offer some type of love, some type of connection. But again, coming more from that emotional space. But I feel like they weren't, like that energy, it's not very grounded. You know, they were coming out of pure emotion, where you, Taurus, was coming out of pure control, you know? And I don't say that in any disrespect. You're an earth sign, so things are a lot more practical, a lot more grounded. You don't necessarily think out of your emotions. You kind of think, okay, like what makes the most sense in this situation? The star, healing. So that desire for things to heal and to grow. Sometimes we think we know what's best for the other person, but really this is a lot about saying that, like, you know, like you kind of have to be mindful with how you approach that in regards to other people. You were trying to be diplomatic, you were trying to be rational, but it didn't really come across that way. It ended up coming across as this devil energy, trying to manipulate the situation. And so this is, yeah, I mean, this is actually pretty heavy, Taurus. I'm sorry. We got the justice energy. So a lot of that is, well, actually, I'm sorry. In this deck, the 11 is the strength card. So I think it was very hard for you to look at the situation in more of a rational, like a diplomatic manner, because that's what that Queen of Swords energy is all about, right? It's about someone who's able to, you know, no matter how this is making me feel or what I think, like I can still handle this rationally. Like I said, they were functioning out of pure emotion, but you were trying to control that situation, and it ended up completely bottoming out. And oh, there we go. There's that justice energy. And so, you know, and look, there's that house of cards underneath. So this person kind of understood it as like, hey man, if this is how it is, then I'm stepping away, right? Stepping away, it's all about what is making them feel happy and fulfilled. I think they're having a really hard time seeing it, because obviously whatever transpired between you two is, it didn't make them happy. They felt like, hey, I'm giving you some type of opportunity, some type of chance. There was this intention on both sides for healing, for positive evolvement, but that didn't really like manifest in the physical world, like between you guys. You probably haven't even had a conversation around it. Or if you have had a conversation, it's been a very challenging one. This person's definitely taking time to hermit, you know, not really being available, because they are kind of looking more at what makes them happy. There is a Page of Cups. So this is blocking that love, right? Blocking that opportunity for new beginnings. What they were offering before is no longer on the table. You know, and I think for you, you're not really doing much about it, Taurus. It's like, okay, fine. Then I'm not going to participate. Again, it kind of lends back to that desire to control how things play out. There is going to be some type of communication between you two. Yeah. You are going to step up into this King energy, King of Swords energy. So places where you weren't able to be like rational and understanding before, I feel like you do step into that, showing some type of love and affection, moving past. But I don't know. This feels like this is a really kind of challenging situation to resolve. And I feel like this person or situation that you're dealing with, they don't really want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. I feel like maybe where you were dealing with them before as being immature, they've kind of evolved a little bit more from this situation. And I feel like, so when you do reconnect with them, it's going to be a very different energy from what you were dealing with beforehand. And they almost feel a little bit more stubborn, a little bit more rigid. That Wands energy. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, you could be partnered with or dealing with. Or just someone that kind of embodies that, like, those elements of being a little bit fiery. They could be a business owner, you know, someone who's very creative. Ooh, jumping all over. There's too many, so I'm going to throw, oops, yeah, shit. The badger. That one wanted to pop out. Okay. We can't badger people into what we want them to think, feel, or believe, right? You guys have been, there's a disconnect throughout this whole reading. And it's not like one person's right and one person is wrong, because I feel like you both feel like you're right, you know, and the other person is wrong. But it's actually really preventing you guys from healing, from reconnecting. And even when you do, it just doesn't go the way that you want it to, which I'm so sorry, Taurus. It's easier. It's not a fun, you know. But I think that, I mean, kind of what I'm hearing is this is the element of just letting some time go by. This is shadow work, really looking at yourself and kind of how you showed up, maybe places that you could have approached this a little bit better. Having a sense of loyalty, that feminine energy comes up with the kiwi. Protecting your own. There was a disconnect around that, you know, and I feel like this is all teaching you, Taurus, like how to better connect with those that you love and care about, you know. Like we talked about, the first two energies are of this like self-sabotage, recognizing the way that you might have affected this situation, your end of it. And I know that's so hard, right? And I'm not throwing shade to you guys at all. But like we see with that moth, that is total shadow work, right? So it's like the the dark cousin of the butterfly. So butterfly is transformation, rebirth, where this is a lot of like kind of diving into the deeper, darker parts of our psyche. And this might not be something that you're used to with this grasshopper energy, kind of, you know, being a little bit flippant, resting on your laurels or your belief or your ego, whatever it's trying to convince you of. And I'm pointing that out because it's not going to get you to your goal, right? If you stay stuck in that ego, in that stubbornness, Taurus, which no shade, but your sign has a tendency to do, it actually can limit the ability for progression and for healing and growth. And that's basically where this disconnect comes into play. So I totally hope this helps. I'm sending so much love and blessings towards whatever you're dealing with, Taurus. Like I said, reach out if you want me to look into your personal situation. Definitely make sure to like, share, subscribe, check out my other videos. I really appreciate all the love, energy, and support. Lots of blessings. Thanks for tuning in.